So I kind of chose today to talk about how to get, oh, that's what I was going to ask. I'll ask you that later. How to get excited about your business again when you feel like you're kind of just like, bleh. Like, I know for me, I'm always like going. And then there comes a point where I'm like, oh, like I just don't feel like it. I want to sit down and watch Netflix one night. Like I just want to do it. But for me, that's the same thing as kind of sitting down and eating a bowl of popcorn and then like wanting it the next day and the next day. And it's the same for my business. So I know that like I need to kind of schedule in my night that I'm going to watch Netflix or whatever it may be. So I know that I'm not the only one that has ever felt like, oh, I don't like feel like doing this. Like some mornings I'll wake up and I'll be like, you know what? Oh man, did I post last night? Like, I don't even remember. Like, I don't feel like doing this. And, you know, then a couple of weeks ago, I was like, man, I can't get into it. Like, I can't get back into it. And I know people will sometimes just feel like I don't want to coach anymore, you know? Obviously I want to, but I'm stuck in this rut and I can't get myself out. So I think that, has anybody else ever felt like that before? Okay. So pretty much almost everybody. If not, you're crazy. So I kind of just wanted to talk about how to get excited about your business again and make it so that you're not feeling that like that. So you could get yourself out of your rut that you're stuck in. So it's not just us that are Beachbody coaches. This is every entrepreneur. Like they feel like they get stuck in their business and can't get it back, right? So it's not just us. But the thing is that that's actually super natural for that to happen. So it's kind of like you're probably not an entrepreneur if that is not happening to you. If you are always like super excited, like, well, that's like amazing. But there's this quote. It said, resistance is a natural part of the creative process. And whether you're creative or not, what we're doing, being an entrepreneur, is being creative. You have to somehow figure out how you're going to run your business, how you're going to, even how we craft a post. How are you going to post this? How are you going to do that? Like, you have to be creative. So resistance is a natural part of that process. But like I said, then it's figuring out, how are you going to get back on track after that? But don't freak out the next time that you feel like that, because it is natural. So just know that first. But there's something that happens, like what you once felt so passionate about. And I think that you can probably agree that when you became a coach, like you were very excited and passionate about what you were doing. And then it kind of points, it's like, meh, you know, I don't really know here. Totally normal. So number one, and this is what you kind of need your pen and paper for, the number one reason that this happens, that we kind of feel like that and fall into that in those days and weeks of this happening, is that you forget why you started in the first place. So I know for me, I was thinking, oh, you know, it's probably because I have to revisit my why. And it's not always, yes, that's huge, but it's not always about your why. But think back. So what I want you to do right now is to use these next couple minutes and think back to before you began your business, like right before you decided to be a coach. And think about what made you process that decision in your head, that the day that you decided to coach, what led you towards that decision? So be as descriptive as possible, if you can, when you're trying to write this down, and try to write the specific reasons that you felt drawn to coaching. Even if you can remember, like if you're sitting there like blanking out, if you can remember like the day before you signed up or the day that you signed up, like how were you feeling that day? And then as some of you are done, if someone feels like sharing how they felt, for me, I just remember that I just wanted to start posting about what I was doing. And helping people because I felt like so amazing. And I remember Rose is my upline and scheduled our Getting Started Right call. And I was like, can we just do it a day earlier? Like, I want to do it. I want to do it right now. And she was like, okay, we'll do it earlier. Like, I was just ready to go because, like I said, I wanted to help people. But for me, like, it was about the income too. I like was really excited to be able to eventually quit my part-time job. So would anyone else like to share how they felt that day leading up to becoming a coach?
I'll share.
Thank you.
So I have been revisiting this a lot lately. So this is something that I discovered too, is that I felt so simply like on fire with my health, with my energy, and so connected to my group, my challenge group, the women that like I had built a bond with, that there was just like this passion oozing out of me of wanting to share that. And I think that the longer that you're in this business too, it's very easy, like Lisa said, to confuse why you started with like your why. Because me personally, like my why kind of clouded over that for a really long time. And also because I have been working to grow my business so much, I kind of disconnected myself from my community as much as I used to involve myself, which is like the whole reason why we do this, right? So you, like, if you become disconnected a little bit, it's really easy to like lose focus of why you started. So that's my share.
Thank you, Leah. Would anybody else like to share? We're good. Okay. So now that you have that written down, check back to that periodically so that you can see like, oh yeah, like that's why I became a coach, because of those feelings that I felt. What, honey? Love you. Bye. Tomorrow. Sorry. So it's because of those, those feelings, like those things. So when I realized all of that, I was like, wow, because I always thought my why. And then I was like, no, why did I become a coach? That will help you see why you became a coach and get back into it. Okay. So the next thing is to create a vision statement. Okay. So if you're feeling like, bleh, create a vision statement and break it down into what's called SMART goals. So I'll write these two in the team page. So you want SMART goals: specific goals, measurable goals. So now I know a lot of times we're taught like dream big, right? And I have a huge dream. However, for me, I need like measurable goals and goals that are achievable within a certain amount of time. So that's the next one: SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So for me, I know for me personally, I need to set these specific goals that I can achieve by whatever time. And dreaming big is nice. Like I have my dream set in my head and I say it all the time. However, if you're not focusing on what you're doing right now to get you to that dream, it's kind of, just saying you're dreaming, but you're not really doing much about it. So create your vision statement using those SMART goals right there. Whatever yours may be, and everybody's will look different. The next thing is to keep your business fresh and exciting. So if you feel like, I'm sitting here every day checking off this list, or you're not doing anything, you're sitting on the couch, you're watching Netflix, you want to go check off a list, but you feel like you just aren't there right now. I know that sometimes it gets monotonous, like adding your friends, writing this down. How many people did you message that day? Sometimes it could get a little boring and you don't feel energized by it all the time. So put new ideas and new skills into play. So how can you do that? How do you find new skills, right? The National Wake Up Call is huge for that. So I forget, Rebecca, somebody did a wake up call, it's either this week or last week, and she was talking about how she set aside project time. And what that was like, whatever project she wanted to work on for her business, she would sit down, because it's, we get overwhelmed. So she would sit down and say she was filling out a Google Doc or something on her Drive or something for her challenge group, right? We'll say that. say she wanted to do that, but there's so many other things going on during the day. So she would set aside her project time and focus on one thing at that time. So now that's a new thing that I'm adapting into my business that's new and fresh and exciting to me that I learned from someone else. So you can do the National Wake Up Call is great for that. Personal development is great for that. So you're not just kind of feeling stuck and you're doing the same thing 24/7. It'll keep your business feeling fresh. Okay. Another thing is just stay hungry. Revisit. Now is when you can revisit your why. So I know that for me, it's to be able to stay home with my kids, even though that shit is changing this week, like for real. But I would like to coach full time and hire a babysitter. So really though, stay hungry. So your time spent behind the computer is great, but if you can bring your skills elsewhere, I know that like a couple of you do. Leah just did an event last week. Rose goes to different events where you're networking and you're meeting other people. If you could find something like that you can do, I don't care if you're in the cold cut line at ShopRite, like talk to someone, just open your mouth. And I know that we say all the time, like, if people ask, oh, what do you do? I'll be like, oh, I'm a teacher. I'll never say I'm a Beachbody coach, right? Why? Like, why not? So I started since then. I feel a little better. But open your mouth and just talk to them about anything. Like you never know what kind of conversations you come out, what kind of people you can meet. So if you're afraid to do that, and there's always, you're spending time behind the computer or lack of spending time behind the computer, spending time in front of your TV, get it in with your team. You don't have to go out and like go to ShopRite, but get it in with your team. Ask somebody on our team, hey, do you want to do a power hour tomorrow? I really need to get back on track. Like, would you like to do a power hour? Or do a Zoom call. Hey, can we talk for a little bit? Like, this could be anyone on our team. I would gladly do that if anyone on our team ever reached out and said, hey, you want to do a Zoom? Let's just toss some ideas around or whatever. Sounds great. So do a Zoom call, do a power hour, get a success partner, go to Super Sunday or Super Weekends, whenever yours is in your area, which is this coming weekend. It's not always just about being behind a computer screen and doing the work or not doing the work. Okay, this is another one that I really loved, and this one helped me get out of my funk. So, I said you're sitting there like, oh, I just don't feel like it. I want to take a break. One thing that helped me move my ass off the couch was to force myself to engage with not just my team, but now my customers. So who do I have that was on HD last month? Let me check real quick. Who do I have that was entered into my last challenge group? I'm just going to reach out to them. It's going to take me 10 minutes tops and see how everybody's doing. The responses that you're going to get from these people are going to be awesome. Like they'll fuel you right away to want to go and work your business again. So just reach out to some of your customers and ask them, hey, how's it going? They will love that you ask them, and you'll feel a sense of accomplishment and inspiration and confidence when they're telling you all about how they're doing on their journey. Then you could even answer some of their questions. And that's what I love what we do as coaches too, because they're like, I can't figure out how to fit this in. And then we are their solution. We are the people that help them figure this out. So if you don't want to do the work and you're sitting there, like talking to people is actually really enjoyable if you let it be. And you tell yourself like, this, I'm going to see how everyone's doing and reach out and see how it's going. And I actually like talking to people. Like I really like seeing what's going on. So force yourself to do that. And I know and there's no magic answer, just like this business. You could be successful if you do X, Y, and Z. Same thing with this. You can be successful. You can get back into your business if you can do these things. If you aren't going to try and you're just going to watch Netflix, it's not going to happen. Like nobody can go there and force you to get up off your couch. But you can try to put these things into play and see what happens. Another idea is to bring in help with a mentor. Reach out to your upline if you haven't, if you're like having trouble. And I'm sure that they will have no problem hooking you up with something that you can do to help you get out of your funk. Or if it's not your upline, your upline's upline, whatever it may be. Bring in a mentor. And like I said, other people on our team, not just your upline. It could be anyone on our team. Would love to help out. And maybe see whatever your goal is. So for me, you know, it used to always be, you know, I want to hit Success Club. And then, you know, your goals are always changing, but maybe you might need to set a bigger goal. So if your goal that you currently have is not fueling your fire, you're going to have to dream a little bit bigger and set a little bit bigger goal so that you have a reason to go and chase it. So it's not so easy for you. Like, okay, yeah, help 3 people a month. All right, yeah, that's easy. Whatever, I could do that. Like, just sit there and watch TV. No, I need to make that bigger. It needs to be 10. It needs to be like, oh shit, I want to fill that. My goal right now is I want to fill that 15 list on my Instagram story for Morning Meltdown 100. And I was fine with like 3 or 4. And then I was like, no, I need to set a bigger goal. So I want to fill that to 15. And so that's what I'm going to do. You need to set bigger goals for yourself. And then it's not always about achieving the big goals. Don't forget to set small victories for yourself. So whatever it may be. Today, my victory was that I sent out 6 challenge pack options. That means to those 6 people that I already had the whole conversation, I already invited them, I already whatever. So sending out 6 of the options to them is huge. So next on my list, I just have to follow up with them, you know, and send them a share cart. They check out. In a perfect world, right? So, you know, you have to do what you need to do. Small victories each day. One day, I like this too, this analogy. One day is not really going to make a difference. If you want to take a break for a day, that's awesome. As long as you're scheduling that in and you know that you're going to get back on track. So say that this morning I went to McDonald's with my kids. They wanted pancakes. We went to the drive-thru. Liam had to go to the bathroom, so we had to go in, all 3 freaking kids, bring them all in with me. And then, you know, they want to sit down and eat. I'm like, all right, I bring the stuff that we just got from the drive-thru in. And of course, then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I have a piece of pancake. I'm like, damn it, I can't. But one day of eating stuff like that is really not going to make you any unhealthier or really have a big impact on your health journey, right? Same thing with taking a break. However, if you're eating McDonald's daily and you keep eating it and you're doing that for like a month, a year now, you're going to have big problems. So same thing with your business. Don't let it get you too off track. Schedule in those Netflix nights, schedule in those breaks. Let yourself know what days you want to take a break and then get back at it the next time that you can. My kids broke my glasses, so it's really hard for me to see. I mean, that's really basically it. I have a couple other little things here, but it's really just about thinking about how fired up you were in the beginning and using that passion to fuel you forward for the rest of our lives here as coaches. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything, or if you could tell me, if you guys can tell me a small goal that you can think of, or a small victory. You know what? That's what we could do. A small victory in the past couple days. What is a small victory that you've had in your business in the past couple days? It could be anything very small or something very big. Let's see. I'm going to call somebody out. How about Bev? You're in. Hi, Bev.
How did I know you were going to do that?
So tell us one small victory if you can. You have to hit unmute again. I have to just you. There you go.
So I've really never invited anyone to coach, and this week, in the last 2 days, I've invited 2 people.
Okay, that's huge. That is a huge victory. I love it.
I met with my wonderful coach last week and had a little pep talk with Wendy.
Awesome.
Working it, trying.
Good for you.
How
about Kristen? Your turn. One small victory you've had in the past couple days.
I feel like I've just gotten more brave and authentic, and I went from not really sharing very much about coaching or anything kind of outside of just weight loss vulnerability. And I feel like I've just been being a little more broad, but specific.
Good.
But it's gotten a good response.
See, that's awesome. Oh, So happy. Like I feel I could cry like listening to all that. V said she did a Google search, figured out IGTV, downloaded the app, did a video, invited people to come super weekend. Good for you. Wow. Leia sent out invites and responded to all of them in the same day. That shit is tough. That is definitely a victory right there. So don't forget about those small victories each day that you're having, because, you know, of course, I would love by now to be way further in my business than I am, but I'm not letting that stop me from still trying to get where I want to be. So small victories every day. What's something today that I can work on? And what's something today that I kicked ass at? And ask yourself that every day. And then the next day, remember what it was. Remember what your victory was. And then I'll help to keep you going. Right now, let's see. Oh yeah, Tracy is holding her own Super Sunday this weekend because theirs is like super far away. So they're doing their own. And Allison set time out in the morning. Could send out invites. That's good. That's hard to do too with kids, you know, scheduling all the time. Showing up on social media with the posts and show up in your stories. Good, Rose. See, you guys are awesome. Everybody's doing it. So remember this the next time that you just want to watch Netflix. Wendy, good job. It's hard. I know it's hard. Like, because then you feel like I deserve a freaking break, right? But you don't want that to snowball. So all of these things you can just keep doing to keep trying and show up for your business. Oops, Ultimate Reset, that's a good one. Andrew, you guys are I see all your posts all the time. They're awesome. Man, we should copy and paste this whole list here. We are pretty kick-ass. Does anyone have any questions or anything? We're good?
No, but I do have something that I think I liked what you said. Can everybody hear me? I think I unmuted myself.
You're good.
So I like the idea of being able to, maybe we should all get together and spin off ideas and keeping everything fresh. I really like that from the call. Because recently, and I can post it in the team page, I think it was on maybe the Beachbody Champions page. Every time you complete a program, I saw somebody was like sending out like certificates to like their people. So once they were actually like showing up and being consistent. And I think that's also a nice way to follow up with your clients. So I actually made a generic one, and then like you could fill in their name and like what program they completed. Because I think then getting something else in return, like you remembered that person and then sending that out, is a good idea. But I think, like you said, maybe we can all get together and spin off ideas, and so to keep everything fresh, right? Because if we're doing the same things, it gets kind of boring and dull.
Absolutely. And then it's like, just remember, people, to use the tools that we have. Like I said, everything is there for you. Like listen to your wake up call, listen to a podcast from one of the top coaches, whatever it is, you can find something that you could be learning a new idea from. Because if you just keep doing the same thing, it's going to get boring. You're not going to want to do it. You're going to feel meh. So fresh ideas always. We're good? I think we're good. Comments, questions, concerns?
I think V had a question. What's the best PD for everyone to get fired up with?
What does everybody think?
I love Grant Cardone. I mean, I'm a tough love kind of person, and he gives me that tough love.
The audio that we all just listened to. Oh, I read it, but we just listened to the audio. Not 10X. Oh, Be Obsessed or Be Average.
That's a good one.
We do that one. And I Am That Girl is still like one of my favorites. All right, so we're good.
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Picture.
Oh, picture.
Ooh, it's gonna die. Here we go. Okay, everybody smile. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And in my post, it's gonna say a team of 300 people. Pretend that all 300 were on. Thank you. Bye, guys.